for boring. Where you can feast with the nectar of the gods. You'll always have a seat at Norse Hall.
Welcome everybody to Top Dog Coverage, where you can find some of the best, and I mean best, football coverage in the nation. Maybe. C-Dub, how you doing?
Fantastical. How you doing?
I'm here, baby. Ready to talk ball at Top Dog Coverage, and we just keep on expanding. Is this not correct, sir? We just keep on going.
Well, yeah, I mean we've grown quite a bit over the last couple months, so.
Yeah.
We don't look like we're stopping anytime soon, brother.
No, man. So if you guys, this is your first time listening to us, hopefully you hit that like button, that subscribe button. If you're listening to Spotify, swipe up, hit the 5 stars, leave us a comment. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Twitter. Are we missing anything else? But everything is Top Dog.
Threads?
TOP.
We're on Threads too.
Yeah. Yes, Threads. There's so many things out there nowadays, man.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah. And but yeah, I mean, we just continue to pump out content, and the two-man band, actually 2.5 with a guy in the background. So
The guy in the chair.
Yeah.
Can't forget the guy in the chair.
Yeah. Shout out to Baker for letting his presence known in the background too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited to get into a little bit of a difference. So we discussed 2025 fantasy football coming in, and now we kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into it. I mean, we're only 10 weeks away, so we have lost C-Dub for the moment, and that's no big deal, but we will continue to do the show as we always do. He will probably be back, but if anything, he's always back. He plays this game of hide and seek all of the time, right? And sometimes it's cute, it's cool, right? But now that we're, he wants to try these games now while we're live, and it's okay. So, like, sometimes you just got to play that little peekaboo with C-Dub, and it gets him going, and he feels a lot better about himself. So, hey, there you see, hey, peekaboo.
Hey, I don't know what happened, but there's some technical difficulties here. I was listening to what you were saying, then all of a sudden a little dinosaur popped up, and boom.
Oh, damn. That's not good when dinosaurs pop up.
Yeah, I was gone. I was out of there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But glad to be back. What's up?
Yeah, you were extinct. You were extinct just like a dinosaur.
Yeah, that was weird.
But anyway, for everybody who is listening and here, make sure you follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay connected. If you guys have any type of opinion for us, please write to us at topdogcoverage@gmail.com. Tell us some stories. Let us know what's going on. I do have an email that did come in, and an email from Adam. And Adam says, Adam, shout out to Adam. Adam says, thank you for all of the advice that we ended up taking a trip to Jamaica with the money we won from the 2025 fantasy football advice that you had given us. It helped us win our championship, and we used that money to go to Jamaica. So shout outs to Adam, and shout outs to Adam for that one. So what is everything okay on your end, sir?
I hope so. I don't know. Maybe it's due to the storm. It's raining a little bit over here. I'm not a technical genius, So I don't know. I'm at the whims of the interweb right now.
Okay. Hey, I'll you know me, I'll hold it down.
Yeah, I have the utmost faith that you can lead us
Ah.
through, lead us through the
Oh.
storm.
All right. So I want to bring some questions to you since we discussed some 2025 fantasy football stuff last year. I
Yeah.
want to know, how do you feel about this
Okay.
little area right now in within the news area of not much going on, the little lull in between. Does it make you
The dead
kind of,
period.
yeah, does it make you crave more? Are you always like looking for something?
I think at this time period, yes, but also you got to be very wary of the information that's out there.
This
I
is
feel like
true.
a lot of people are trying to get clicks and views and whatever. So you'll hear some crazy stuff like, "Oh, this guy stood out in camp and he had a phenomenal touchdown to interception ratio at mini camp and blah blah." And none of that matters. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about? I don't need to know that. Like,
Yeah.
let's wait until we get to training camp, put the pads on.
Yeah, wait, get the training pads on, go into training camp and everything like that. Trust me, I get it, man. C-Dub is really having technical difficulties, but yeah, there are a lot of different rumors that come through and a lot of different things that people just can't believe. It's a lot of clickbait around this time of year, so it's very, very difficult to decipher what's true, what's not, since there's not a lot of stuff to be talking about. That is usually the issue with this kind of lull in between mini camp, because these players have 30 days off, 40 days off, and what happens is that these articles are written, it's clickbait, and everybody wants to, they want the attention, so that's usually what happens. So it's like, put the pads on, and that's the real time.
I'm trying a different browser here, so hopefully I'll stay within the show.
You're good, man. You're good, man.
I'm playing whack a mole over here.
Hey, it's cool, but you know what? Since that's happening, let's just, can we dive right into diving to the news, baby?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start off with a little action. Hey, C-Dub, you wanna tell us about a little weird trade that had a trickle down effect?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kicked off this week. It's the week of July 4th with some early fireworks. Could you say?
It, fair enough, sir. Fair enough.
So the Steelers and the Dolphins made I guess you could consider a blockbuster trade.
Mm-hmm.
But the Steelers received Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 seventh round pick in exchange for Minka Fitzpatrick and a 2027 fifth round pick.
Mm.
So Steelers got a dynamic tight end, a little bit older. They also gave him a 1 year, $12 million extension coming over from Miami. And Jalen Ramsey, who's in his 30-year-old season, for exchange. I mean, Dolphins, they get Minka Fitzpatrick back. They originally drafted him way back when, and he's only 28 years old and one of the premier safeties in the league. So I believe that is also another captain from last year's team for the Dolphins that is no longer on the team. So I think it was 4 of the 5 captains, I believe, something along those lines, but pretty substantial. I mean, this is going to affect Pat Fryermuth. This is going to affect Steelers defense. Maybe they're going to be another one to target in fantasy. What does this mean for the Dolphins defense?
Yeah, what did we just talk about? I believe you had did you have Fryermuth in your top 5?
Mm-hmm.
Does
I
that
had as an honorable mention.
honorable mention, does that knock him down a hair there because of this trade?
I think they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. I mean, this could be very similar to what Arthur Smith had in Atlanta when he ran with Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. So I don't really know how it's going to shake out. He has an obsession with Jonnu Smith since he coached him in Tennessee and Atlanta. So I don't know. I think at this point, Jonnu Smith's probably the better athlete and more dynamic player. But Pat Fryermuth is that kind of catching traffic, make sure you get the first down. He's not dynamic, but he's always going to be in the right spots of
Yeah.
where you need him to be for that quarterback. So
Yeah.
It's be very interesting to see how the snap rate goes for these guys and who ends up being the primary target for
And,
Rodgers.
and for Minka Fitzpatrick going back to the Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, and Jalen Ramsey going over to Steelers, great. And then how does that affect what the Dolphins do now?
I mean, you lose one safety to the Giants. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. He was the free safety there last year. Got the neck injury a couple years ago,
Mm,
but he signed with New York in the offseason. But I think this brings a ton of leadership to that Dolphins defense. There's been a lot of murmurs and a lot of talk about how the Dolphins are soft and they don't have enough discipline. Well, you get Minka Fitzpatrick coming back over from the Steelers, which taking some of that Mike Tomlin culture, bringing it to Miami. I think that defense is going to be a lot more improved. You know, he's going to be in the right spots. He's going to be a vocal leader, and he's a playmaker.
yeah,
He can
and
fly around, get those interceptions, be where he needs to be, and he's really good at disguising coverages.
and with that, we talked about Javon Holland.
Yes, Javon Holland. That was the name.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, that also brings the Dolphins in to grab another giant player that was on there who they still have the rights to his contract.
Yep, Mr. Darren Waller, who retired, I believe, a couple years ago due to injuries, and then he had a short rap career. Dropped a couple songs, some music videos, but
And it was a
now,
wrap after that.
Yeah, it was Dunsky. So he needed I guess he needed a way to make some more money, but he's coming out of retirement and he's being traded from the Giants to the Dolphins. That gives Tua another weapon. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's at this stage of his career if he's going to be the same type of player from an athletic standpoint as Johnny Smith, but I mean Darren Waller, he had some pretty big years with the Raiders, so if he can try to maybe get some of that magic from way back when, I think it gives you just another weapon in the passing game to pair with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, and those guys over there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest trades I've seen as a trickle down effect. You know,
A lot of moving parts with it.
it really is. It really, really, really is.
I do think it makes sense for both sides from where the teams are at.
It does. I mean, you think about it, the AFC North is not a division to mess around with, and you need as many great players as you could possibly get over there. You know,
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
solidify everything, and they're also trying to, obviously still sign T.J. Watt. You know what I mean? You're thinking, or because that's one thing that they're definitely trying to get into is the next contract with him, and you can't deny his
Impact.
no, yeah, it's just like obviously it's there, and you know what I mean, and that's you got to find ways to pay this guy if
Do
you
you think
want.
he resets the market, or do you think he gets like right under Myles Garrett or ties
I
Myles
don't
Garrett?
look. I don't see why he wouldn't reset the market. He like when he's on the field, it's a problem. When he's not on the field, that defense it's not. It's maybe just above average.
Yeah.
But when he's on there, the defense is a pain in the ass. You have to schematically find out the way that you're going to run your offense. Sometimes finding out where he's going to line up.
See, I think he's a great player, but I don't know if I would necessarily reset the market with him based on his age, where he's at now. I do think he's deserving of a bigger contract or whatnot, but I do think Myles Garrett's a superior player. So
Yeah.
I applaud the Browns with getting that done, but I don't think that TJ Watt's going to be in surpass Myles Garrett. I think he'll be close to the same ballpark, but I don't think he'll surpass it.
I think he resets it with with an extension of like, hey, obviously not adding like all these massive amounts of years, right? But I think with guaranteed money or something like that, I think
You think the average money per year, it will be higher than Myles Garrett? I think isn't Garrett at like 45 million or something?
he is somewhere like that. I got to look it up, but yeah, he's
He's like the highest paid non-quarterback, right?
yeah, and I think he's gonna try to like keep up with it. I mean, I don't think I don't think it's what he's looking for. Like that's his match. But I do believe that he's looking for something like, yo, you want to keep me and you want to put a run at this? You have Aaron Rodgers. We'll pay me and we'll get a chip out of this.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
that's what I think he's at. But
I think it'll be one of those situations where he'll get his deal done and it'll be close to Myles Garrett, and then you'll have Parsons come in and reset the market.
yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Yeah,
That's my thought.
that's a solid stream with that. I like that.
What you got for us?
I always have something, man, but Deshaun Watson, man.
Oh, DY.
Yep, Deshaun Watson. It sounds like his era in Cleveland is maybe slowly coming to an end. So 2 years remains on his 5-year contract with $230 million fully guaranteed. That the Browns, the worst deal in NFL history. That's what I'm going to call it.
Is it the completely worst? It's the worst deal in terms of trade, compensation, overall contract, and just play on the field.
Playtime. Yeah.
Everything. This was just the absolute worst move in the history of the NFL, right?
Yeah. So as the Browns began a 4-man competition between Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, and Deshaun Watson. Okay, so you got 5 here, but there's a really good chance that Watson is he's mentoring for Gabriel and Sanders, obviously. Okay, but he's 29-year-old passer, has also shared his thoughts with Kevin Stefanski's scheme with the 2 veterans. Okay, and it says even after he fared poorly as regular calls for his benching rang out last year, before going down with his first of his 2 Achilles tears, the second still appears likely to force him out for a full season for 2025. The first came when the Texans made him a healthy scratch throughout 2021. So this is the thing. As he's throwing a ball, so at 29 you still have a lot of chance to come back, but you're coming in to a contract where it's all guaranteed. You haven't shown anything, and not even, I mean, nothing compared to what you had going on in Houston. In Houston, he was looking great. Take aside all the off-field stuff for a second, okay?
Before that happened and he got hurt, yeah, he was good. He was
He
probably
was.
the first Clemson quarterback to really perform and play well.
So it's looking like the Achilles might keep him out of 2025. And you know what? I kind of question that a little bit, because when, when they say, hey, you know what? We really don't want this person to play, or we don't really want this person to do X, Y, and Z.
Well, he had a setback because he tore his Achilles twice now, right?
Yeah.
And then during his rehab, he had a setback.
I believe so, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a really good chance that he might not ever play again.
Because we didn't hear anything about this until now.
No,
it came not about his Achilles, but I have heard about his Achilles, but I haven't heard anything about him sitting out 2025.
I think there was when it first happened. I think it was like October, November, or something along those lines. When it first happened, that there was a setback. I think it was in question. How healthy can he get to come back on the field by this year? But I don't know, man. I think just the whole situation's tough. I don't know if he's ever going to play again.
Yeah,
despite only being 29.
I think people will take a flyer on him a little bit later on, but that I think that's about it. Those are people that are desperate for quarterbacks, and see how that goes, in the next few years. But it's getting to the point where just when you thought that it was rock bottom for this contract look or this deal, this trade, it just continues to just. Now you're digging a hole to make sure you can really hit rock bottom.
And this is, I forgot to mention this too, but on top of the compensation, all that, they gave up on Baker, who they spent the first round pick in 2018 for, who's, he had a couple rough spots in Carolina and whatnot, but I mean, he's really blossomed to become a franchise guy for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So
yeah,
that's one of those what if situations in the NFL, right? What if the Browns never gave up on Baker and didn't make this deal? Where would Deshaun Watson be?
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the details of the Bengals. Rookie waiver dispute with Shamar Stewart has been revealed. So we've all known about what was going on. The Bengals standoff with the first round pick Shamar Stewart, and it kept him sidelined through the mandatory minicamp. So the offseason participation agreements, or the waivers, ensure that the players are protected if they get injured during the team's offseason program, including rookie camp, OTAs, and all that other stuff. So should an injury occur, the agreement guarantees that the rookie contract negotiations continue in good faith, so players can still receive the same deal as if they were not injured. That goal is explicitly stated in at least one other team's agreement, but not the Bengals. So Florio revealed two other major differences that could be disadvantages to Stewart. First, the Bengals rookie waiver takes effect if the player sustains a disabling NFL football related injury. Another team omits disabling, quote unquote, to ensure that all injuries suffered by a player while participating in the offseason program were covered by the agreement. And then second, the other team includes a commitment that the player's rookie's contract shall be commensurate. Commensurate? How do you say that word? COMMENSURATE.
Sure.
Commensurate? I don't know.
Yeah.
With their draft slot. Cincinnati does not include such a commitment, while rookie contract values are predetermined by a draft slot. Players can still negotiate for better guarantee or payment structures, which has been a key issue with Stewart's deal. So, in short, they said the Bengals offseason participation agreement, it did not provide the same level of protection as the other teams given to the rookies. He said, Rich Eisen show. Shout out to Rich Eisen. Love him. That Bengals second round pick Demetrius Knight initially refused to sign his waiver because of the same issue, though it was resolved by the second day of rookie camp. Importantly, the Bengals used the same language for 2024 first round pick Amarius Mims last year. So there's something very specific about their contract that is going on with this. But I think if they do want to move forward, it's up to them, obviously, whether they're going to change, certain things in their contracts or not. But that seems to be the issue.
Yeah, I don't believe the first round picks for the last few years had that same language in the contract. And that was another key piece of that.
Yeah. So that's all the news that I have today. There's not so much. A lot of stuff is small, again, that we have talked about, and but I do have some questions for you, C Dub.
Ooh.
Let's
the
polls, baby.
The polls.
So, if you guys and girls would like to check out the polls that we have on, go to youtube.com at topdogcoverage/posts. Okay, so we have some polls up. And so far, out of 110 votes, we have Lamar Jackson winning this right now. But I want to ask you, C-Dub, which QB would you pick? You're down by 6 with 2 minutes remaining in the game. You got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow.
So for me, I gotta go with Joe Burrow.
Okay.
That was my choice on the poll. Reason being is because this guy is the best pure passer out of all these guys. Mm-hmm. He's great at processing. He's able to escape pressure. He's not the athlete that these guys are, but he has won so many big moments in his career, from the national championship, having one of the greatest college seasons of his senior year, and helping transform the Bengals. The Bengals were not a contender. They had Andy Dalton for a while, but after that, they were kind of a laughingstock. So I think Burrow is one of those transcendent quarterbacks. He's got ice in his veins. Mm-hmm. I want him to have the ball in the final 2 minutes. I want him to go lead the team, go score at Huddy, and let's move on. Let's get the dub.
Fair enough. I would go Patrick Mahomes, down by 6, 2 minutes, and I know this sounds very okay. It's Patrick Mahomes, right? But I'll tell you why. This dude has proven it time and time again, along with these other three. Okay, they're not that they haven't, right? But it's really hard to stop him, as even though he has that really weird walk back to the huddle sometimes, like he's speed walking, or in Spanish they call it marcha. Okay, like that's what that is. But he has just proven that I can't throw the ball, or I can't throw it awkwardly, or whatever it might be. He just runs it another 7 yards. He just keeps on getting those progressive yards. Boom, 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 boom. And he moves it down, and he makes it look so friggin' simple.
He's one of the most smart scramblers out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to account for him on third down, otherwise he's getting it.
Let's go to another poll that we have. Who is the first tight end off the board for fantasy? Is it Brock Bowers?
We'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Travis Kelce, or Mark Andrews? Between these four, I'm telling you, I am riding this train, my friend, until the wheels come off. You already know who I love the most. You know this, and there's
Travis
a lot
Kelce.
of heat. There's he has 0 votes, my friend, on this poll.
I swear he had a vote the other day. I don't know what happened. Someone got
somebody
shy.
came back to their senses. That's what the fuck happened. No, look, I'm on the side of Trey McBride. All right, that's me, baby. Okay, I will continue to pound the table for this man. Okay, and it's because he had almost no touchdowns. Their passing game last year was in the top 5 of schematically. That's what they wanted to do. Now they also did have to pass more because they were behind in games, but they wanted to pass the ball. That was their actual game plan. And they did, and they utilized this dude. And they still have the schedule coming up of very easier for Kyler Murray, easier for Marvin Harris Jr., and one of the easiest for Trey McBride this year. So I'm pounding the table for this dude yet again, who came just under Brock Bowers, right? Brock Bowers was the phenom last year. I don't want to take anything away from this dude, right? But he came just under him with how many touchdowns? 2.
What do you mean he came underneath them?
In fantasy.
Oh, he finished as number 2 tight end? Is what you're saying?
I believe he did.
Are you talking about McBride? Yeah.
Or with targets and everything like that too, right? He was neck and neck with Bowers, and that's without the touchdowns. So I choose side McBride, baby. That's
Right.
me. That's but I want to hear your thoughts. We've talked about this. I don't disagree with you. I just lean towards one side of the fence.
Yeah. Okay. So you're Team McBride. That's fine. That's cool. So I got to ride Team Bowers. I'm with the people who's leading this voting.
Really, you're gonna cower to Bauer?
No. So let me tell you something one time.
Let me tell you.
So Brock Bowers, right? How long does it usually take rookie tight ends to kind of get their footing in the league and kind of make that statement? 3, 4 seasons?
I would say 3. Yeah, I was gonna say 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah.
So this guy came in his rookie year and broke the receptions record as a rookie tight end for one of the absolute most worst, disgusting offenses in the league last year, the Las Vegas Raiders. Can you tell me 3 people that were throwing him passes last year?
I was.
Right. And he was still out there catching passes.
Yeah,
he's still catching them.
And he's making me look good. He's making me look good.
So I'm going to bet on the talent. I don't care about matchup. I don't care about anything. This dude's all ball. He's athletic. He knows how to get open. Phenomenal hands. He even got better in blocking. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the talent all day long. Brock Bowers, tight end 1 off the board.
And you know what? On here, It does have Brock Bowers out of 20 votes so far. So again, you guys want to go on to at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, look up the posts, and all the polls will be here. He is at 65%, while Trey McBride is at 10%, Travis Kelce is at 0%, and Mark Andrews is at 25%. So if you guys are interested to take a look at that, I would highly recommend it. It's a very, very a lot of fun polls that we have on here, and we just want to get your perspective on it. We want you guys to have a voice in the game we play here. So,
And we do have another one coming out tomorrow. I believe around
Awesome.
lunchtime, so be on the lookout for that.
All right. You want to do one more?
Yeah, sure. Which one are you leaning towards?
All right. So let's do C-Dub. You're on the clock. All three are available. Who are you taking? Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford.
So this one was actually a lot closer than I had initially anticipated.
Mhm.
I had to go Baker, not only because he finished as the number 4 quarterback last year,
Mhm.
but because I do believe in him. I think he's a phenomenal player. I was actually really torn between him and Dak, because I do think Dak is going to have a huge bounce back year. He dealt with some injuries. I think his hamstring fell off the bone last year or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he's going to come back, be better than ever. He's got George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. So it was very close, but I had to go with Baker because they gave him more weapons. That offensive line is going to be even better this year. The defense improved. I got to roll with Baker.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So yeah, I struggled with this too between Baker and Dak, because Dak is a hell of a player, and when he is healthy, he shines, man. He makes that offense. Yeah, he makes that offense hum. And look, he just got another piece. You gotta remember when they used to have Amari Cooper and they drafted CeeDee Lamb. That was really, really hard to defend when you had the two of those guys there.
Oh, and Gallup too. That's when Gallup was in their prime.
And Brandon Cooks. Like they had a lot of people over there at one point, and not for nothing.
He wasn't there during the Cooper age. He's only been there for like a season or two.
Amari Cooper? I'm pretty sure.
Brandon Cooks he didn't play with Amari Cooper over there.
No. We're gonna have to look this up now.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Brandon Cooks. Oh, hey-o. Okay. When was he on the? All right, Brandon Cooks was on the Cowboys. Check it out.
Yeah, don't
check it out.
Don't play.
All right. No. So news, stats, bio. Got it. 2023 to 2025.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, he's only there for a short time.
So he was there with.
He's there with CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
But he wasn't there with Amari Cooper.
When did Amari Cooper leave? He got traded though, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was at 2020, 2021. Because he went to the Browns for like a 5th.
Okay. Amari Cooper. The Browns were ravaged by injuries and adversity in 2023, but one constant that kept them on track returned was Amari Cooper. So maybe 2022. All right, so maybe it was a year right beforehand.
When he went to the...
I think so.
Yeah, he went to the Browns in 2022.
Okay. So close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
Haha.
Great success.
Well, great success. Well played, sir. So yeah, I mean, I still lean towards, though, even though the Dak can light it up, and I lean towards Baker too, because he could be a late rounder, and you could still be able to get somebody within the top 5, top 6, top 7. He's
a sneaky rusher too.
Yeah, he really is. He's a stud, man. He wants to get stuff done, and He wants to rush for those yards, make sure he gets the first down, move the chains, get it to his alpha dogs, and he wants to win. He just wants to win. He's a dog. But since we're talking about all of this fantasy stuff, right?
Yep.
Would you be opposed to maybe jumping into Woo-hoo! What do you say?
What are we jumping into?
Well, mock draft time, baby.
All right, let's do it. I can do
All
it.
right. Yeah, let's do a mock. Let's do the first mock of the year. And just to see where everything's at. All right. And that way everybody can see what we're doing. We'll do a little mock draft. Yep. Seems like your connection is a lot better. That's good.
Yeah, I think it just had to do something with the Chrome browser kept failing on me. So
okay. All right, so let's do 3 randomize, and we're gonna draft together on this one. Then we'll find out ways to draft. We'll have a bunch of people on as the time gets closer to more of a realistic time to draft and everything like that. So everybody's probably drafting on their sleeper with everything right now, and that's cool. But obviously more towards around August, end of August, people really start doing their drafts a lot more. So we'll do randomize real quick, and we'll do 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So fourth, we're gonna pick clock. We're not gonna have anything. No pick on the clocks.
okay.
Timing, and then we'll do 1 QB, two running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. No flex, 1 kicker, 1 defense, and bench.
Yep.
6 bench. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so let's do that. We'll start the draft. This is going to be, it doesn't really matter, Yahoo or ESPN, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think this has to do with like what their rankings, I believe, right?
Right. So we're going to start with the 4 spot. And it's loading. So right off the bat, we are number 4. Let's go through the draft board. And right off the bat, Jamar Chase at 101, Bijan Robinson 102, CD Lamb 103, and we are at the 104 spot. Now, this is where you and I have these really good talks, and we discuss who we want and what we, So we won some good amount of money yesterday. So who are you thinking right off the bat here?
We won some money yesterday, or talking about last year?
Last year.
Yeah, I was like,
so
we're gonna won some money last year or yesterday.
We're gonna do it again this year.
Facts. Okay. So who do we got on the board? So what's your initial gut tell you?
So at pick 4, if we are going to go, so 1, I'm thinking if Justin Jefferson is there or Jahmyr Gibbs, I do like the 2 of these because Justin Jefferson has proven himself with whatever quarterback has been in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not like this kid is brand new coming in. He's been there a year. It's not like he has been thrown to him. He just hasn't had an NFL game with Justin Jefferson yet.
Yeah, and I think Justin Jefferson is going to make his transition to the league a lot easier too.
Yeah.
I think Jefferson has huge upside this year. I do like them together. They're both on the younger side. I think Jefferson kind of raised his game even another level this year to where he could easily end up as the receiver 1. I do like Jahmyr Gibbs because I think running backs are kind of scarce. I know a lot of people like to go either zero running back or running back hero style, but Gibbs is one of those dynamic special athletes. That offense is going to improve. The only thing that they lost their starting center. They have a new offense with Ben Johnson leaving town. So I think Jefferson might be probably the safer pick with the same amount of upside.
And in case anybody's wondering, like, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about, like, when we're in these heavy money leagues. Okay. So my question to you would be this: if Jahmyr Gibbs makes it back to us, do we take him? Now, the odds are it's very stacked against us. It's a 1% chance that he makes it back to us, but we've been wrong in these scenarios. Kamara made it back to us last year, right?
Yeah, they never go as the mocks go because you can't estimate other humans making picks, so it's hard to. You can do as many mocks as you want, but I guarantee you, the day of the draft, it won't go the way that it goes.
Right. So, I mean,
So
if I was to ask you if Jamar Gibbs comes back to us at the 209, what would you say?
I probably no chance.
Well,
Maybe
no,
a
no,
0.001 chance, but if he's there, yeah, let's take him.
absolutely, yeah, and have these talks with the people that you're having drafts with, that you're teaming up teams with, because it's a solid, like, lay everything out on the table that you guys want, because remember, you're betting with your wallet, not with your heart. So we're gonna go 104 Justin Jefferson.
Look it down.
Go all the way down and all the way back, and we'll just go through it one real quick. 105 is Christian McCaffrey. 106, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 107, Jahmyr Gibbs. 108, Saquon Barkley. 109, Ashton Genty. Puka Nacua at 110. 111 is Devon Achane. Malik Neighbors at 112. Back on the 2 spot. So 201 coming back, Nico Collins. 202, Jackson Smith-Njigba. 203, Brian Thomas. 204, Derrick Henry. 205, Josh Jacobs. Drake London at the 206. 207, it's Lad McConkey. And 208 with Tyreek Hill. And we are back on the clock at the 209. You have a little bit going here, bud. So we got AJ Brown, Brock Bowers. That's what we're looking at. Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We went wide receiver.
Yep.
Now, is this a spot that you are willing to, that you want to grab another wide receiver or a running back, or since we're so close that we can grab a running back coming back, or what are you looking at here, man?
So in this situation, I would probably lock down one of the top tight ends and then come
Okay.
back and either look to see what receiver or what running backs available. Just because at tight end, it's such a wasteland if you don't get one of the top like 4 guys.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to waste time with this. I want to go with if this guy's on the board, Brock Bowers. We've talked about this. We might be on the. I mean, look at it. The two of them. They're ranked 1-2. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. Let's grab this this Brock Bowers and see what we can get back at the 304.
Let's do it.
All right. So we got Brock Bowers, then goes 210 Rashee Rice, 211 Garrett Wilson at the turn, 212 AJ Brown, and then Trey McBride at the 301, Devontae Adams at 302, Jonathan Taylor at 303. We are sitting here at the 304, and we have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Jaden Daniels, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams.
So I think we look at let's get our hero running back. I think we could easily roll with Bucky.
Okay.
And with Tampa Bay. Chase Brown's got a lot of upside with Cincinnati because, the offense is going to be good. He was a beast down the stretch last year.
So my question with this at the 304, do you want somebody that's sharing like Bucky, or would you rather have somebody that is pretty much solidified as the one down or the one running back that's running the show?
Well, at Cincinnati, that's not necessarily the case. They drafted a guy, and then you also have Zach Moss coming back from injury. So they want to do a committee up there too.
So who are we thinking here between Bucky, Chase, Kyron, Breece, and Alvin?
Before we make that decision, can we see what's on the receiver?
Yeah,
maybe we build up on the strength.
You got some studs here.
Yeah, I know he's a little bit down there, but what if he took a shot at Marvin Harrison Jr., having that big bounce back with Kyler? I mean, you said they got the easiest schedule this year, right?
They do have one of the easiest schedules for wide receivers. I see you want to make a run on wide receivers here.
What are your thoughts?
I would either go not for nothing. Taking a risk with him is I could do it. I would either do T. Higgins or Mike Evans because Mike Evans is still that alpha over there. So you're talking about 2 alphas in Justin Jefferson and then having Mike Evans as well. That's looking really good with Brock Bowers.
Yeah. I think Higgins has more upside than Evans.
Okay.
because one of these years Evans is going to fall off. It might not be this year,
Mm-hmm.
but also they added more weapons in Tampa Bay, so maybe they don't need him to play as many snaps in
Possible
last
was this
year's.
his last year, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I think he only has maybe a year or two left on his contract, but he'll be what 31, 32 when the
Mm-hmm.
season starts.
Okay. So what do you think? Are you thinking T. Higgins, gun to the head, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Marvin Harrison Jr. has the most upside, but T.
Okay.
Higgins is in that passing offense that
Okay.
they're going to get as long as he stay healthy. So I think we could take a gamble with Higgins.
All right. I'm down with the Higgins. Let's try that out. And if Marvin Harrison makes it back, I think that's a perfect situation to where we could just go running back after that.
Yeah, we'll figure right back out later.
Yeah. All right. So big. Okay. So we'll go T. Higgins. So it goes Bucky Irving 305, Kyron Williams 306, Josh Allen first quarterback off the board at 307, Mike Evans at 308, George Kittle at 309, Lamar Jackson at 310, Alvin Kamara at 311, Chase Brown at 312 at the turn, with also taking Brees Hall at 401, Marvin Harrison Jr. at 402, Chuba Hubbard at 403, Jaden Daniels at 404, 405 is DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker 406, Jalen Hurts 407, and Terry McLaurin 408. We are back on the board at 409. And not for nothing, I'm kind of liking this right now. James Cook is at the top right here.
Yeah, because he's still won that contract, right?
He is. He is.
I say we roll the dice and take him because I'm sure they're going to get the deal done.
Yep.
And he scored what 16, 17 touchdowns last year.
He was big fantasy last year. So,
Yeah.
yep. Well, let's do that. Let's take him, James
Okay.
Cook, off the board. Let's not overthink it. And then at 409, James Cook, Sam Laporta 410, Joe Burrow 411, RJ Harvey at 412, James Cook at 501 at that turn, DeAndre Swift at 502, Amari Hampton at 503, and then we're back at 504. What are we thinking? We got DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Joe Mixon, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin. You want me to go look at the running backs?
Yeah, let's do that. So what are your thoughts of pairing either Montgomery or Pollard with James Cook?
I would do. They're both in committees here, right? I would say the only person that's not in a committee but he gets hurt is Aaron Jones.
But they just traded for the guy that started for McCaffrey last year.
I know, and I think that's because he's going to be on his way out. Like when he leaves, they already have their next running back. That's my personal opinion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, I think they want to do a committee with Aaron Jones over there because they brought in. Well, I don't know why I can't think of what his name is, but he was in.
Mason.
Yeah, Jordan Mason. Yeah, so I mean he performed very well with McCaffrey out last year too. I think they want Jones to kind of do more of the passing game work.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much touchdown upside there is with him.
Okay.
With Pollard, I think you have more of a chance to. They're going to want to keep Cam Ward in a kind of more of a run first type offense.
Yeah.
And he's one that's shown that he can perform in the past. We don't know how Tajee Spears' knee is going to hold up.
Yeah.
So yes, he's in a committee, but also I think he could be the healthier of the two.
Okay. I would lean David Montgomery, but at the same time, I am not sold with everything that was. The Lions lost a lot over there, so I'm hesitant to jump into an offense that we don't know what the scheme is going to look like and everything.
So why don't we go to receiver and see if we can just load up? Because you got DK Metcalf, who's going to be a target hog up there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, who was kind of underrated last year in that Denver offense.
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Smith, for fantasy, I'm sure he's been fine, but I'm not a huge fan of Devonta Smith in fantasy just because I don't know how much passing volume there's going to be for him.
You know what I want to see here? Like, this is actually something that I wouldn't mind doing. I wouldn't mind picking something else maybe here. Uh, Not for nothing, I wouldn't mind picking one of these running backs to solidify just depth because the farther down you go, it's going to be a little bit more.
I mean,
Um,
you can get Najee Harris on the board because he'll probably be the starter until Hampton takes over.
okay,
So
so you wanna look at what wide receivers or quarterbacks or running backs?
actually, let's do a curveball. Let's look at tight end.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
So
I
you
mean,
got
look at Travis Kelsey still sitting there.
yeah. I mean, you got Hawkinson and Kelsey. You also have Njoku because if Joe Flacco starts next year, Njoku was a beast. He peppered him with targets the whole
Yeah,
time.
he's a big tight end guy. Um, who are you thinking in this little run here?
So here, I'm leaning towards maybe Ingram or Njoku.
Okay, I would say Ingram, and I say that because the Browns are very wonky. And they could at any given point be like, okay, Joe, you could take a seat now. And then the whole dynamic changes to the amount of targets he will get because it's not Joe Cool anymore.
Njoku.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So you
I
want to
mean,
you want to
let's roll the
try Evan
dice.
Ingram?
Why not?
All right, let's do it.
Yeah,
That's the Joker, right? Isn't that the Joker?
yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, so 504 Evan Ingram, Baker Mayfield 505, Joe Mixon 506, T Mac 507 from the Carolina Panthers, Bo Nix at 508, DK Metcalf 509, Aaron Jones 510, Patrick Mahomes 511. The turn at 512 is TJ Hawkinson, and then 601 Kyler Murray, Jalen Waddle at 602, Zay Flowers at 603, Devontae Smith at 604, Travis Hunter at 605, Travion Henderson at 606, Cortland Sutton at 607, Chris Godwin at 608. We're back on at 609.
You want to maybe take a look at quarterbacks just so we can get our guy,
Yeah,
or do we want to wait? I mean, because you got some guys on the board, so maybe on the turn we can take like a Prescott or a
we got some studs on
Jordan
there.
Love. Yeah, I mean we could wait on there for a little
Okay.
bit.
So you want to look at running backs here? Everybody's still there.
Yeah, it might just be out of just because the Andy Reid, but what about Isaiah Pacheco?
We can certainly try it out. Yeah, I mean they only got one running back over there that they drafted, which is fine. But I mean it doesn't mean Isaiah Pacheco is still going to be.
I think it's gonna be the workhorse because I do they still have Kareem Hunt? They didn't re-sign him, right?
I don't think they did. No, he's
So
always a pickup afterwards. When stuff starts going wrong, that's when they pick him up.
yeah.
So yeah,
So you
we
want to
could do
roll with
that.
Pacheco or do you want to go with Pollard or Montgomery?
No, we can go with Pacheco. And this is guys, when we're doing this stuff, I'm gonna relay a message to him real quick that this is where we do it. Hey, after this, I'm saying this right now. If Quinchon Judkins is available at the 704, I like that it's still sitting there, knowing that he's probably gonna get the most touches in that offense.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hit Isaiah Pacheco, and hopefully, if you're cool with that at 704, if he's still there, that we can snag him.
Yeah, I'd say him or we go quarterback. But yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll do that. So Isaiah Pacheco at 609, Jared Goff at 610, Chris Olave at 611. The turn 612 is Justin Fields, Tony Pollard at 701, George Pickens at 702, and Quinchon Judkins at 703. We got sniped.
Yeah.
And then we could look at QB here if you want. And what do we look at? We got Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott.
I like Brock, Caleb, or Dak here.
I'm leaning towards Dak.
Do we want to roll the dice and see if he makes it back to us? Or do you want to just go and pull the trigger?
We could roll the dice, and this is what mock drafts are for. So let's roll the dice.
Okay. So then, do we want to pick up another running back then?
Who are we looking at if we're not taking him?
Well, we only
Running
have
back, wide receivers.
I say let's go running back because I think we're getting kind of thin at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody pop off the page there with you?
It's really, really. I mean, look, Najee Harris is still down there.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. I think is still that starter over there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's really hard to pass by David Montgomery still, knowing
Yeah.
that you know what I mean? He got hurt last year. That's fine. But he's always the starter kind of like in the first half of the game, and he gets a lot of
He's
touches.
their goal line back too.
Yeah, he's going to get you touchdowns.
So yeah, I'm good with taking Montgomery here.
How are you feeling with Caleb Johnson?
I I think by the season's end he'll have the most touches, but I don't know how that share is going to be. And with Rodgers there, he always just kind of tanks the run game. I mean,
Yeah,
you saw with your Jets last year, so I it's gonna be hard for me to trust any Steelers running back this year.
fair enough. Okay, all right. So let's jump into that, and we'll do David Montgomery.
Cool.
All right, cool.
Lock it down.
All right, so 704, David Montgomery, Jerry Jeudy at 705, Jordan Addison at 706, Jamison Williams at 707, Debo Samuel at 708, Xavier Worthy at 709, Khalil Shakir at 710, Jacoby Myers at 711, and at the turn, Jalen Warren at 712, and Calvin Ridley at 801, Josh Downs at 802, Rome Madunze at 803, Caleb Johnson at 804, Cooper Kupp 805, 806 is Travis Etienne Jr., Brandon Ayuk at 807 and Juwan Jennings 808, and we are back on the clock at 809. What are you thinking? I can't believe some of these tight ends are still here, dude.
Yeah. I mean that maybe in the next one that we don't take a second tight end that early. But I mean, if we're looking at receivers, Stephon Diggs pops off the page for me. Him and Jaden Reed.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I will go. I mean, I think it's a no brainer here. Stephon Diggs is going to be the alpha there. Jaden Reed is always it's always a question mark what the Packers are going to do with their wide receivers. So I'd rather get these points rather than guessing who's going to get the points.
Yeah.
So you want to do just Stephon Diggs?
Yeah, I'll say we do that, and then let's get Dak on the turn at
All
9
right.
if he's still there.
Okay, let's do it. So we got Stephon Diggs at 809 with us. Is Jaden Reed at 810, 811 Tyrone Tracy Jr. 812 Javante Williams, and at the turn 901 Ricky Pearsall, 902 Michael Pittman, Najee Harris at 903, and then we're back at 904, and this is where we are going to grab Dak Prescott. All right, at 904, which it's great to have this communication with your partner when you're talking about this, when you're putting money in together. So Dak Prescott, that's what I agree with that. Dak Prescott at the 904 with Zach Charbonnet at 905, Cam Scatterbo 906, Brian Robinson 907, Ramondre Stevenson at 908, Darnell Mooney at 909, 910 is going to be Tank Bigsby, Luther Burden III at 911 with Tajay Spears at 912, and on the turn, Jordan Mason will be your 1001. Rashad White at your 1002, David Njoku 1003, Ray Davis 1004. At 1005, we have Matthew Golden. And at 1006, you have Bayshul Tootin. At 1007, you have Adam Thielen. And Trey Harris is at your 1008. We are at the 1009 spot. Let's take a look at who we got here all together.
So actually, a guy that's sticking out to me, if you go back to running back, Isaac Garindo. He's going to be backing up Christian McCaffrey this year, and we don't know how McCaffrey's going to be coming off that double Achilles tendonitis.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be one we look at snagging just to have on the roster in case he does take over that starting role.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. I'm open. Is there anybody else on there that you see that? Do we want to maybe look at receiver?
If anything, I am for running back, I'm looking at Jalen Wright. And the reason why I look at Jalen Wright but I think he can make his way back to us if anything. Mm-hmm. And I say that because A-Chain is great. He's dynamic. But when he does get hurt, there's no other running backs. Everybody else is gone. So he is the next man up. And he is a very good running back. He's very dynamic. He's a good pass catcher. He knows where to be. He's a hard runner. And he's a home run threat too. So that could be a very sneaky pick in your later rounds. That is one guy that I'm looking at. wide receiver here, if anything, if I'm looking at any one of these guys, I am, without going too crazy, I'm kind of looking at Cedric Tillman. Okay, very sneakily, right there next to Jerry Jeudy. Okay, especially like you're talking about, if Joe Flacco was there, it's a late round pick. That's kind of somebody I'm looking at right now.
You take him over Keon Coleman?
Um, I don't know that, to be honest. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't really pleased with what he did, even though it was his rookie year.
He had a wrist injury too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I I I I guess so. I would say yes. You know.
I would just I trust Josh Allen over Joe Flacco
Hmm.
to make him fantasy relevant.
Okay.
If we're going receiver route.
Okay, that's fair. I'm also very like I wouldn't be mad to take your backup QB here either.
I
Just because it's like, okay, no matter what, if Dak, how many times does Dak get hurt? I like the
probably
fact
every
that,
other year or whatever, but I think I think in this situation I would lean towards Drake May just to have that stack with Stephon Diggs. Since they play for
okay,
the same team, you could double up on their points.
I like that.
Plus, he has that rushing upside where, I mean, he was one of the top rushers last year, probably
Okay,
because he's running for his life, but
probably.
nevertheless, he was making, chicken salad out of chicken, you know what?
Word. I do like, since this is getting kind of
Then,
thin in the running back room, though. I do like your original. After we just kind of spilled everything out there, I do like the Isaac Grendo,
okay.
because it's a solid. He can sit on the bench and just kind of wait to see what's happening,
Yeah. Still,
And then if nothing does, we can go to the waiver wire. So,
yeah.
Isaac Rendo at 10:09. That's what we're going to take. Trey Benson at 10:10. Mark Andrews at 10:11. Who would have ever thought that, by the way? 10:12 at J.K. Dobbins. And then the turn, Jaden Higgins is going at 11:01. Rico Dowdle at 11:02. Wandale Robinson, 11:03. And we're back on, excuse me, at 11:04.
How many rounds is this?
We got 4 more, including this pick.
So also don't be afraid to be the first person to take a defense if you want to lock down that number one defense.
Yeah.
Especially in this later rounds, so you're like 11, 12, like who cares? You're going to get the top defense compared to your number 5 running back. Like,
yeah.
So.
Not bad at all. And they because they can really give you points, man.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos helped us out so much last year.
They did. They
our
absolutely
big league,
did.
So.
I would say this, though. Just for the value,
Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, how can you?
And straight bait too, in case
it really
you get
is
ravaged by positions later.
You're talking
injuries.
about 11th round here.
I'm cool with taking him. I can run with 3 tight ends. It's fine.
Yeah, let's draft him here, okay? And we'll worry about what we got. So Travis Kelce, 11:04. Austin Eckler, 11:05. John Smith, 11:06. Emeka Egbuka, 11:07. Dalton Kincaid, 11:08. Keon Coleman, 11:09. Tyler Algier, 11:10. Tucker Kraft, 11:11. And Christian Kirk, 11:12. The turn with Justin Herbert at 12:01. Jerome Ford, 12:02. 12:03. Hunter Henry. Braylon Allen, 12:04. Jalen Wright, 12:05. Tyler Warren, 12:06 with his country hat. 12:07 with Blake Corum. Jake Ferguson, 12:08. So let's take a look at what we have on the board here. Let's go all. Is this where you want to take your backup QB or your running back or your defense? You want to go after that first defense?
I think the defense is just going to start going on this turn here. So I say let's go and lock down our defense we want.
We're on the same page as Denver?
I think so.
Yeah. They were a force to be reckoned with. They added to that secondary. We're ready to roll.
Yeah.
So we're going to go defense. And there you go. Thank God we did, because Denver at 12:09, 12:10, Trevor Lawrence, 12:11, Brenton Strange, J.J. McCarthy at 12:12, and then a turn with the second defense at the Philadelphia Eagles at 13:01. 13:02 is Miami Dolphins, and Pittsburgh Steelers 13:03. So now we're looking at What are we looking at here?
I
So,
said, let's get our backup quarterback. I mean,
okay.
you want to go? I'm good with any of those guys that are on the board right there. But I mean, the way our team's put together, I think we could stick with Drake May. I think we could do Caleb Williams, Jordan Love be a solid option. CJ Stroud, I think, could really come back and show us who he really is. I think he's going to perform closer to his rookie year than he did last year.
Yeah.
But also, Purdy's going to get the opportunities. I mean, he's a viable fantasy starter.
Yeah. He's just in a great system, and he'll give you those average points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
and
not going to lose you very many weeks.
no, and that's the thing. He's not gonna win you a championship, but he's our secondary quarterback here, and that's what we need. We need somebody to fill in that could just get the job done.
Yeah. Unless you want to take a flyer of somebody with huge upside, like a Caleb Williams or Drake May. But if you're looking just for a safe option, Purdy's
You know
it.
what? I would take a flyer on Caleb Williams because I have a feeling that Ben Johnson's going over there not to just allow him to be the same person that he was with the no coaching. I have a feeling he's really going to turn him around over there.
Yeah, I like it.
You want to try that out?
Yeah, I think Caleb's due for a bounce back.
Yeah, all right. So Caleb Williams at 1304, Baltimore Ravens at 1305, the Vikings at 1306, the Chiefs at 1307, the Lions at 1308, Dicker the Kicker at 1309, the Texans at 1310, Brandon Aubrey at 1311, the Bills at 1312, the Turn at 14 is Jake Bates, the Jets at 1402, Chris Boswell at 1403, 1404 the Chargers, Will Lutz 1405, 1406 is Kiami Fairbarn, Justin Tucker 1407,
His new
1408
team.
yeah, Chase McLaughlin at 1408, and then we're sitting here at 1409. Do you think we just grab a kicker?
Yeah, because this is the last round, isn't it?
Yeah, or do you want to still go after some players?
No, let's just take the kicker and complete our
Okay.
roster.
So this is how I look at things. I look at teams who are either going to be playing from behind, or they're always going to have to catch back up, or teams that score a lot of points. Okay, so Cincinnati
Team with good
scores a lot.
offenses, but they're going to be behind. They're going to be down.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So I don't mind Tyler Bass. I don't mind Evan McPherson. I don't really mind. I don't mind Butker at the same time, though. The touchdowns have been very low. The scoring has been kind of lower on the Kansas City, even though they win games, right? So um, here's a sneaky one for me, in my opinion, Young Ho Koo. Okay, Atlanta. You don't know how Penix is going to go. He could make some mistakes that keep them to 3 points because he's only in the second year. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm also leaning towards Cardi and the Rams because the Rams are going to have a solid offense.
Yeah.
But also, I think teams are going to be better game planning this year too.
Mm-hmm.
So then that could be an option. And sneakily, I think Jason Sanders with the Dolphins.
Dude. Is it just me or he always delivers?
I think he's had some pretty big seasons, and you have no idea what that offense is going to be. You don't know how long Tua is going to be healthy for.
Yeah.
So I don't. We can grow with Atlanta though. I'm good with Koo.
Okay. Yeah, let's try that out. We'll do Koo 1409. And then 1410 Jason Sanders. 1411 Daniel Carlson, and then 1412 Evan McPherson. So we got an 86. We got a B on this draft. So 86 out of 10. Thank you to the Draft Simulator Fantasy Pro. But our team is looking like this. We have Dak Prescott, James Cook, Isaiah Pacheco, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Brock Bowers, the Denver Broncos, and Young Ho Koo. Our our bench is Evan Ingram, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Isaac Guerrero, Travis Kelce, Caleb Williams.
I think it's pretty solid.
I think
I'd be happy with that team going into the season.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking like right there. Not too bad. Our score would be 721. We would be fifth. It says we would be fifth around 12. Our starters are second in this. Our tight ends are first. Our defense is first. Our wide receivers are fourth. This is a good breakdown. I like this. Shout out to Fantasy
Yep.
Pros.
Look, you want to click on the steals and reaches? It's a third tab. Summary, expert opinions, steals and reaches. Go scroll up a little bit. There you go.
We got to upgrade for that.
Dang. Oh, man. Oh,
That's
well.
how they get you. That's all right. That's all right. They did more than enough.
Yeah.
So it says our team ranking is second.
But just with the starters?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Not too shabby.
No, not at all. Overall, we would be 5 starters. We would be second. We would be 11th in our bench. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's why they're.
Yeah. Second one you had.
Yeah, we're good with that. That's okay.
Cool.
But I think that's pretty good. That's not a bad. I think it's a pretty good mock draft for the first one of the year. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little rusty, and you got to see there were some strange names further down the board that you wouldn't really expect. So
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely not. And we want to give a little bit of an idea to people that, hey, this is exactly what we're looking at. You know what I mean? Like, this is how we communicate when we're doing these things, and it's just one of those things where you want to be on the same page with the people that you're drafting with, or put some different equations inside your head. You don't always have to go, hey, do not draft. I'm going to tell you right now, number one rule: do not draft just because they are on your favorite team. That could be the worst thing you do.
Don't load up on your favorite team's guys, because if they have a bad week, you're gonna have a bad week twice. Because your favorite team struggled, and then your fantasy team has all your guys from your favorite team, so they're gonna struggle. So that's a double L. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You gotta be diverse with your team, spread some love, have some guys from different teams, but also make sure you target great offenses, good offensive-minded coaches, and guys that are going to be, for me, this is one of mine, look for guys that are going to be in some big primetime matchups.
Yes.
Because one, you get to watch them, the whole world's watching, but also those are going to be in the later time slots. So it gives you time to kind of manipulate roster and give you some hope going into some of these matchups.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a little game for you. If you're interested.
Yeah, we're always down for some games.
All right. So what if you say we did a little admire, flyer, or passerby? Let's play a little game here for a second, all right?
All right. Will you explain those?
Okay.
Not only for me, but for our people.
So either these are going to be players that either you admire, you take a flyer on, or a passerby is like, I'm good. We're going to pass right by them. Okay, we're okay with that. So you're on the clock, fantasy-wise, and we'll each do 3 names. How about that? We'll do 3 names, and then you tell me. I'll give you a name, and then you tell me whether or not it's an admire. You'll take them, like no doubt, or you'll take a flyer on them, but you're thinking about it, or it's just like it's a no. It's a passerby.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to go first?
I can always go first, sir. I am actually gonna go with Quinshon Judkins.
Mine would be a flyer.
Okay. All right. I also am going to go with a flyer on him. And I think I have him down as like an low RB2 this year because we don't know what he's gonna do. But it's like one of those things where I would rather have my 2 guys first and then have him. And it's almost like if I have the flex spot, I'll put him in there and test it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm okay if he's on my roster and hoping that he can become something and get those touches and take over that backfield. But I'm not going to count on it because I don't know if I really want much to do with Cleveland this year.
Not a lot of people
Uh,
do, my friend.
so I just that one's a tough for me. I'm putting Flyer just because he's a rookie with, I think, good upside,
Mhm.
but I got a foot under the passer buyer on that.
Okay. So passer buyer for you?
No, I'm gonna stick with Flyer just because
Oh,
of the
he's
talent and everything, but I'm leaning more towards passer buyer. If it
okay.
comes down to it, I'd have to wait like an extra round and take him. I'm
Okay.
not I'm not gonna be reaching for him at all. I'll tell you that.
Gotcha. No, no, no. 100%. All right, so give me one of your guys.
All right. My first guy is Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid. Okay. I'm a passer buyer, dude. I'm not a fan.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not a fan. He just there was this hype about how he was going to be used. They drafted him so high, because he was a weapon. He was, a problem, right? You seen what he did in college. There's no reason why he shouldn't have made that leap. He
Yeah.
should have he should have had progression in there. He was drafted so high. So for somebody to have hopes and dreams on somebody, like the only way I'm taking a flyer is if I already have two tight ends. And so by that point, if I have to say that, it's a passer buyer for me.
Okay. Yeah, we're completely different. He's an admirer for me.
Okay.
So he's going to his third year. He's in one of the best offenses in the league. He's got Josh Allen throwing the ball, and I think this is where he could really take that third year leap and
Mm-hmm.
become a very valuable fantasy asset. He's dealt with a pretty serious knee injury last year, played through it, which I think hindered his development quite a bit. He's fully healthy now, so I think he could easily be one of the top weapons for Josh Allen and a red zone threat.
Okay, so question. He was injured, understandably. But if he didn't show it the first year, and I get that it can hinder him, but why would he break out in the third year, do you think?
What year did Trey McBride break out?
I believe the second when Ertz left.
Was
I
it or
think.
was it his third year?
Was it his third year? I think this is his third year.
Let's look it up.
I think.
Because if we did that off his first year, I don't think Trey McBride would have stuck around very long. So let's see. Let's go to his receiving. So he was a rookie in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
He had 29 catches, 265 yards.
Okay.
In 2023 was his second year. That's when he had 81 catches, 825 yards. Last year was his third year, and he had 111 catches.
McBride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So this is McBride's fourth year.
Okay. Fourth year in. Okay. I don't. All right. My opinion, I don't think it's fair to compare the two because
Well,
you have.
I wasn't. I just saying that he had a third year breakout. I think Kincaid has the same elements as McBride. Maybe not the same run after the catch,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think he's a great athlete, and he was hindered by a few injuries. So I think this could be, if any year he's going to do it, this is going to be a year he's going to break out.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay. So you're an admirer.
Mm-hmm.
Ha ha ha. Okay.
Uh,
This is the good thing about it to be on two different ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
yeah, I have faith in good players or
Cool.
good
I
talented
like it.
players.
You know what? Fair enough. This is one close and dear to my heart. Brees Hall.
I'm going to take a flyer on him. And this is from somebody that was hurt by him last year in a league.
Mm-hmm.
I do think I like the offense with Justin Fields there. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's going to take some pressure off of him. Aaron Glenn's going to have, more of a stronger defense. They're going to be flying around the ball. They have a certain culture that he's bringing to the team. And you have a stable of running backs. So I think it would be better to have him in a timeshare, which is going to keep him fresher. because he did
Mhm.
deal with a pretty serious knee injury a couple seasons ago. But I think he has a talent to be an every down workhorse. But I would like to see him maybe not be the full workhorse to open up and give him, less is more with him right now, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I do love the talent. I do like the fit in that scheme over there. So
Mhm.
I am taking a flyer on him.
Okay. I'm on the same page. I'm taking a flyer. I'm not reaching for him. I don't think it would be a smart idea considering that Aaron Glenn he does want to run this little committee. He does want him there. Obviously, that's great. That's awesome. But also having a rushing quarterback could take some stuff away from him in the fantasy realm. And that is something that I would rather take a flyer on, let somebody else take him. If he falls to me, great. That's where I take the flyer. And I'm okay with him as a running back too, but I'm not banking on him to be my running back one or anything like that. I think that you should pick running backs before him, in my personal opinion. And that's coming from a Jets fan. That's how you know you want to bet with your friggin' wallet. Okay. So,
Facts.
yeah. All right. So, who you got?
All right. My second player, Tyreek Hill. Are you admirer, flyer, or passerby?
Kill. I'm a passerby, my friend.
Do tell.
Let's start with his age. His age is what?
30,
30? Yeah, 30.
31.
Not
Something like
saying he's not saying he's not fast, okay? But how long will he be relevant before his QB
that. It's
hits
31.
hits the ground, okay? Um I can differ between passerby and flyer if he falls. If he falls and it's in the beginning of the season, I have no problem taking him as a flyer. My initial reaction, if he's getting drafted high, is passerby. You guys can have him, take him, right? Because as soon as Tua goes down, that's the end of his season.
So let me ask you this:
Yeah,
what round would you be willing to take him in?
late. I'm talking like you're talking maybe 4 or 5. If he falls that way, his name still gives him a lot of credibility.
So
And
you
it's
would,
hard to say no. He's the cheetah, right? Like,
yeah. So you would turn to a flyer if you went in the 5th round.
yeah,
Oh, you know what? I should have wrote down what round you went in the last one we just did, that mock draft. We can look back at it.
yeah. I hear you.
I'm just curious. But yeah, I was also a passerby just for a lot of those similar reasons. But Miami kind of scares me a lot this year. There's only maybe a couple guys I'd want on that team with HN and maybe Tua for the first however many games,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm kind of trying to avoid most Dolphins this year.
I hear you.
It's hard to trust that
Yeah,
offensive scheme, and I don't know how long they're going to stay healthy, and it's just something I'm trying to avoid.
fair enough. Yeah, no, I get that. Going into Broncos country, let's ride.
Ooh.
Evan Ingram.
So I'm not as high on him
Mm-hmm.
as you are,
Mm-hmm.
but I would be willing to take a flyer on him
Okay.
based on his past production with the Jaguars. What Sean
Yeah.
Payton's been able to do with certain guys in this game, like a Jimmy Graham and Taysom Hill and those type of players. So I would be taking a flyer, but it would have to be late. I know we took him as the second tight end in ours, but I'm talking it'd have to be like 8th or 9th round where I would take him.
I am an admirer. Okay. And I still believe that I could probably get him as my first tight end around that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that I could still pick, but if I do think I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm going to get him back. Sometimes, you know how sometimes we'll wait and we're like, hey, you want to just take the risks and see if he comes back? I
Mm-hmm.
won't do that. I will reach to go get him, even if it's in the 8th or 9th, and I think I'm still overreaching. I think he has a potential of having a great ceiling.
That's fair. I won't reach to get him, but yeah, I think he could be pretty productive. He just dealt with a lot of injuries, even from when he was with the Giants and with Jacksonville. I don't know if he's still the type of athlete that he was.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so high on him because I hate injuries, but I have no
It is
idea.
strange, but it's okay. We'll allow it.
I think that I thank you. I thank God for bringing you as a friend for not judging me. Okay.
Hey, there's certain guys that I can't quit. Their talent's too tantalizing, and it's hard for me to give up on players until I absolutely have to.
I hear you.
Is
So who's your last guy?
my last guy, CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. Okay.
Shout
Uh
out Luis.
Shout out Luis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'll tell you right now, he's not a passer buyer.
That's good.
I'm in, no, because people will be like, "Oh, he had a bad season."
Oh,
Yo,
they wrote him off, man. They're like,
yeah,
oh, his second season and he didn't do great. This dude made the playoffs, and they win the playoff game? Didn't they beat? Oh, they beat the Chargers, right? In the playoffs?
I think didn't they beat the Ravens? Am I?
No, they didn't beat the Ravens in the playoffs because the Ravens made it to the divisional, but I'm pretty sure they beat the Chargers.
But when they came in, like they beat, yeah, I think they beat somebody that nobody, yeah, because Chargers were supposed to be that team that was
Yeah,
gonna run
I
through
want
them.
some money off that because I bet on the Texans to win that game.
Oh, really? Yeah. And then didn't they beat the brakes off them?
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah. Okay,
pretty
that's all
handily.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that if I saw him on the board and I already picked like one of the high end quarterbacks, I would take the Flyer as my second. But if I saw him there and I was like, okay, some of the other quarterbacks are gone, I would reach for him. I would
So
take him because he chucks the ball. I think he's a very good pocket quarterback.
he's an aggressive passer too, for sure. But
Yes.
would you be comfortable with him as your QB1 in a one quarterback league this year?
This year, yeah, I would be. I would actually be very, very comfortable with him being a quarterback one.
Okay.
Uh, and saying that, like, a lot of people want these Lamar Jackson, they want these, Josh Allen's and Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrows and Patrick Mahomes. They want these guys, and that's cool. But when you're drafting, you have the ability to let those guys go to other people. Because remember, when you let those five go, more of the five top guys from your wide receivers, your running backs, your tight ends fall to you. And you can create your roster and get some of these gems back in the back later rounds. So since everybody is writing him off, like you're saying, CJ Stroud has a chance to prove all the doubters wrong, and you can still stack your fantasy team and then have a number one quarterback, possibly top 7 in fantasy this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only time I'd be willing to take one of those top quarterbacks early that's not a running quarterback is if I had the stack. So if I have like Jamar Chase or if I have T. Higgins, I'd be okay taking Burrow kind of earlier.
Yeah.
Because you want to have those extra points where you get basically double points for having that stack. But yeah, I was an admirer. I am very high on CJ Stroud. I was high on him coming out of the draft a couple seasons ago. I still think he's an elite option at quarterback. He's got a little bit of athleticism where he's not afraid to run. That's not his main piece of his game. But they've loaded him up with weapons. They completely revamped the offensive line. I think he's in for a huge season. I think he's going to bounce back and play closer to his rookie year, if not even better. So I'm an admirer of CJ Stroud in fantasy this year.
Yeah, I think he has the potential just to come back and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm back. They got 2 brand new wide receivers coming from, again, Iowa, right? Like
Iowa State, yeah.
and like Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, and
Training for Christian Kirk.
yeah, they're trying to win right now. They are not sitting here like, oh well, we'll just put one guy in here to fill this slot. No, they drafted 2. They're trying to get this pass game back. The first year in with a new head coach, he was a monster.
Yeah, and Nico Collins is an absolute beast, an absolute stud out there too. So
absolutely.
I think he's
Absolutely.
going to create some opportunities. That's another person that I would highly recommend probably targeting in fantasy. But that's a stack. Could you imagine getting CJ Stroud late in there, but also having Nico Collins?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely wild. I mean, you could tell that was the alpha. Even when Tank Dell was in there, and everybody wanted to say, "Oh, Tank Dell's kind of like that," because he did. He
They're best
highly,
friends.
yeah, he talked about him all the time. Cool, but when you have that different chemistry with somebody else, it's just there. Nico Collins obviously is the alpha there,
Yeah,
hands down.
it's a big person's league. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Nico
and
Collins is dominant. He can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we don't have Tank Dell. That's cool. Let's get Christian. Let's draft 2 other guys. They're ready to go, man. I cannot
Yeah,
wait to see this Houston Texans offense.
loaded up on weapons in that offense. So it'll be an exciting season for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I believe that too. And there's one other huge admirer that I have on here, and that is C Dub.
Oh,
A big
here we
admirer of
go.
you, my friend.
Here we go.
Yep. At first,
Likewise.
hey, look. I met you at the combine. You were a passer buyer at first. Then I took a flyer on you, and now there's nothing but admiring on this end. So
See,
I
look at that.
mean,
It's
big
all
hearts
love.
over there, huh? Big
All
hearts
love.
over there.
All love.
Well,
Fun episode.
it is. It was a great episode, man. Always fun. Make sure you guys swipe up, leave a comment on Spotify, Apple, give us 5 stars. Follow us on Top Dog Coverage on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the polls. Make sure you vote. So
Vote.
go to YouTube at Top Dog Coverage. Hit the post button on the tab, and then follow us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Stay connected with us. Make sure that
Threads.
leave us some comments. We will answer back. We love interacting with you people. Okay, you guys is what makes the show happen. So thank you everybody for another glorious episode. C-Dub, always a pleasure, my friend. Always admire the hard work.
Always.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace, homie.